thing.
Let's just move on. Samson.
She shouldn't have opened her mouth against him.
Well,
because obviously this was 7 days of their wedding.
All right.
So on her wedding, she's betraying him already.
Right. So basically, what I get from what you're saying is, if there's ever a fire at your house, you might want to ask what God did.
No, not a fire.
Samson.
What, are you going to stop and listen?
No,
No, you're going to stop and listen.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Speech.
with Samson and wifey, she shouldn't, obviously her people came to her family. It was like, find out the riddle for us so that we don't have to
mention the riddle.
What was the lion with the honey? That was the riddle.
Oh.
And they were supposed to give him money and clothes.
All right.
Okay. Wait.
Come on.
No, can we go over what we just did?
No.
What's the point of having Bible study then?
Very good answer. I don't want to burn. Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. So, the point was, she found out the riddle so that they didn't have to pay him and they didn't have to turn over anything to him, because the minute that they did, they lost everything and he would have ruled over them. In the end, he ruled over them anyways after her death. So it would have been smarter of her to keep her mouth shut and allowed him to rule over them. But they were being too, oh my gosh, can you find out the riddle for us? Because we don't want to give him money. So now they lost their life. So in the scheme of things, he ended up ruling over them regardless of what Waifu did.
Oh.
And she lost her life.
Okay.
And you have nothing to say about that? Okay, we're good.
No.
Samson and Delilah, because this is where he wants to go. He wants to go to the whore. Let's go. I want to talk about wife, but you want to talk about whore. Let's go. Wifey boo, because now she's dead.
Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute. He went into her. The Genites were told, Samson has come here, and they surrounded the place and set an ambush for him all night at the gate of the city. They kept quiet all night, saying, let us wait till the light of the morning, then we will kill him. But Samson lay till midnight, and at midnight he arose and took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts and pulled them up, bar and all, and put them on his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that is in front of Hebron. After this, he loved a woman in the valley of Soka, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, seduce him and see where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to humble him. And we will each give you 1,000 pieces of silver.
1,100 pieces.
True. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength lies, and how you might be bound, that one could subdue you. Question for you, Christina, very quick, since you have a good memory, just as a factual question. Are we told before that the strength was in the hair?
No.
All right.
Other than when the angel told the mom, you will not do this, you will not do this. And I think it had mentioned something about allowing his hair to grow. But they go through it so quickly.
Oh, so it's not.
But I think there was something in it that they wouldn't touch his hair. So it was applied, don't cut his hair.
Oh.
So he has long hair.
Okay. Samson said to her, Samson said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings, that had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had men lying in ambush in an inner chamber. And she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he snapped the bowstrings as a thread of flax snaps when it touches the fire. So the secret of his strength was not known. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Behold, you have mocked me and told me lies. Please tell me how you might be bound." And he said to her, "If they bind me with new ropes that have not been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." So Delilah took new ropes and bound him, and then she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." And the men lying in ambush were in an inner chamber. But he snapped the ropes off his arms like a thread.
I'm going to stop there. That's twice now she's lied to him.
Right.
Why is he not catching on? And he snapped at his wife.
Right.
Instantly.
Okay.
This is twice now. Now, it's because of this that some men feel that they are being trapped by a female in her wicked ways.
All right.
And a man never wants to be whooped
All right.
by a... Can I finish?
Well, I want a speech.
A man never wants to be whooped by a woman, because this is what they refer to when they say be whooped. Being controlled.
All right.
I'm just saying, read my book.
All right. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have mocked me and told me lies." Sounds like someone I know, Christina. "Tell me how you might be bound." And he said to her, "If you weave the 7 locks of my head, with the web and fasten it tight with a pin, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." So while he slept, Delilah took 7 locks of his head and wove them into the web. And she made them tight with the pin and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he awoke from his sleep and pulled away the pin, the loom and the web. And she said to him, "How can you say I love you when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times, and you have not told me where your great strength lies." And when she presented him,
When she pressed him hard
with her words, day after day, and urged him, his soul was vexed to death. And he told her all his heart, and said to her, "A razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. And if my head is shaved, and then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man."
Okay, stop. So, her nagging him made him finally say the truth, because obviously she's like, "Oh, you don't love me enough to tell me the truth." This is why men and women have problems.
All right, thank you very much. When
Wow.
Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, "Come up again, for he has told me all his heart." Then the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in her hands. She made him sleep on her knees, and she called a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. And she said, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." And he awoke from his sleep and said, "I will go out as at other times and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. And the Philistines seized him and gorged out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles. And he grounded at the mill of the prison. but the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. Now the Lord of the Philistines gathered to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their God, and to rejoice, as they said, "Our God has given us Samson, our enemy, into our hands." And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, "Our God has given our enemy into our hand, and the rage of our country, and who has killed many of us." And when their hearts were merry, they said, "Call Samson that he may entertain us." So they called Samson out of the prison, and he entertained him. They made him stand between pillars, and Samson said to the young men who held him by the hand, "Let me feel the pillars on which the house rests, that I may lean against them." Now the house was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there, and on the roof there were about 3,000 men and women who looked on while Samson entertained. Then Samson called to the Lord and said, "O Lord God, please remember me, and please strengthen me only this once. O God, that I may be avenged on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." And Samson grasped the 2 middle pillars on which the house rested, and he leaned his weight against them.